So this morning we have this 2011 Ram 1500 5.7 Hemi in here for a significant oil leak. The customer was driving the vehicle and they were pulled over by somebody else because it was blowing oil out the back and smoking. You can see all the oil here. It's nicely undercoated all the way to the back bumper. So a significant oil leak, but it's hard to tell where it's coming from. It's obviously from the back of the engine. I don't know if it's common for the rear seal to fail. This engine is about 15-16 months old. Was replaced with a reman because of a valve lifter problem or a cam problem. I wonder if it's got a problem with one of the solenoids on the MDS system leaking under the intake manifold. I found a case on Identifix like that. So trying to look at the back of the engine with this bore scope, and it's really difficult to get in underneath the intake manifold, but there's a considerable amount of oil. It's certainly wet back there, and I can't see how it would rise. Oil doesn't typically run uphill. I can't see inside or under the intake manifold, so it's either the rear seal is blown out of this thing or something's happened to one of those MDS solenoid seals. Like I said, I did find a case. So given the fact that either the engine has to come out or the intake has to come off, I think pulling the intake would be the least labor intensive, at least to qualify that. And then if the engine has to come out afterwards, then we'll go that route. So here's what we found on this. There's the rear seal right here, and if you look, it's actually pushed right out of the block. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on the camera. So we're going to pull the transfer case and transmission out of this thing. I did pull the intake manifold off because I had seen oil behind the intake, and there is some oil in the valley area, but it's definitely not the problem. So there's the transmission out, there's the seal, as you can see, has just pushed it out of the rear carrier here. Here's the gallery plug that somebody mentioned could be loose and leaking, but we're going to check that. So we're going to get a new seal and a seal installer, because the seal has to be pushed in uniformly with the seal installer to be done right. So I'm going to see if I can borrow one from somebody.
So this is how that seal is serviced. I was under the impression you could buy just the seal, but this is a seal retainer. Comes as an assembly, comes with the gasket and a installer to help slide that seal over the back of the crank snout without rolling the seal lip. So this is already pre-installed in there. I've got the seal out. Normally I was expecting to use something like this. This is a seal installer, not for this vehicle, but similar. It bolts to the crankshaft, the seal slides on there, and then you push it in with this tool. This is for a 6.5 turbo diesel for a GM, so it's obviously not the right one. But we don't need that. We're going to install this seal assembly into the block with a little bead of RTV sealant on the corners down here, just to ensure that, and after we clean the block, of course. I checked yesterday or last night for cases on Identifix and other sources as to why this seal might blow out. We are going to investigate the PCV system, make sure there's not excessive crankcase pressure, and that's about the only thing I could find. Aside from that, it's a matter of reassembling it.
So there's what the back of the block looks like with that seal retainer removed. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts that hold it around the outside, and then 4 or 5 bolts along the bottom of the oil pan. I'm going to clean up the seal surface with some emery cloth, make sure there's no pitting or burrs on it. And I'm also going to check this gallery plug up here to make sure it's tight. I think that's an oil gallery, and so might this one be. Maybe, maybe not. But this is definitely an oil gallery. You can see the main oil line feed cast in the block from the back of the main here up to the back of the camshaft bore. Aside from that, like I said, a little bit of silicone in these two corners after you clean this all up with some brake cleans.
Shouldn't be building up pressure in there, definitely not oil pressure. So I thought I'd share a little trick that I learned years ago from a senior tech about how to polish a crankshaft. Wrap some very fine emery cloth around the crankshaft with oil on the emery cloth, and then wrap a piece of wire around it like I have, and then use this method. That way you apply an even pressure all the way around the crank, and the oil helps to the emery cloth clean. And that's basically all you need. That removes any kind of little scratches. And peel that off, and we'll wipe the surface off and have a look at it. If I could find a clean rag. I think you'd be able to find a cleaner rag than this, but that looks pretty clean. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So there's the seal reinstalled. These little bolts are 10 foot-pounds, and just hand tight. These oil pan gasket was replaced when the engine was put in, obviously, so it's a reusable gasket, silicone ribbed gasket, so it should be fine. That rear galley plug is tight. So I'm just going to wipe up the oil residue here and put it back together again. So the bolt torque on the crankshaft bolts is 55 foot-pounds. Do it in a cross pattern, and I use the bell housing bolt and a pinch bar to hold the flywheel so it wouldn't turn like so. And one thing to note, it just so happened to be that this is where it ended up. You'll notice the 4 torque converter bolts, one of the holes is narrower than the other 3. So make sure you start with that hole when you're putting the bell housing bolts, the torque converter bolts back in from the back side. That will ensure that the other 3 will go in. So you can put this one in first, and then the other 3 will line up. If you start with one of these other holes, you may be off by a small amount, and when you get to this one, guess what? It won't thread in, and you'll have to go back and re-loosen them all. So that's about it. Make sure the dowel pins are both in the block, and they are. Missing dowel pin can lead to a flywheel failure, cracked flywheel, because the bolts don't line it up. It's the dowels that line up the bell housing bolts. So let's continue the reassembly. So make sure you use some compressed air to blow out all these electrical connectors, especially this one. It has a tendency for pebbles and stones and dirt to fall in there. I'm going to put something over it to keep it clean. This one as well back here. You can see this gravel and sitting on top of the tranny. It might fall in there. Make sure you install these little clips back on these fittings. It's much easier to do it now with the transmission out than it is when it's up in place. And then the transmission cooler lines just snap lock back into place again. You're not supposed to reuse those clips, but I have with success. Take it for what it's worth. Manufacturer says don't reuse them. Back together and running, oil topped up. This is the fresh air tube for the PCV system. This plastic tube goes over to the other side of the air cleaner, so it brings in fresh air. If you hold your finger over this for about a minute, minute and a half, if the PCV system is functioning properly, you should feel a vacuum when you take your finger off. You should hear air rush into the crankcase. So about a minute and a half, hold it there, and then take your finger off. I don't know if you're going to hear that on the camera, but the PCV system is working, so I can't explain why that seal blew out, unless it was just a defective part. 16 months, rebuilt engine. Well, we just got to check the fluid levels. I've already topped up the engine oil. We've got to check the transmission fluid, raise it up to make sure there's no tranny cooler line leaks, and do once over visual, and then we're done. So we'll call that one a wrap. Thanks for watching.